Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today we're back at it with another standard deck tech straight out of Edge of Eternity Standard, and this one's a doozy. It's another Mardu deck. I know we've done a ton of Mardu lately, but I just feel like all of the most interesting cards and the most interesting combinations coming out of Edge of Eternities happen to be in Mardu. But this deck is way different from the last Mardu deck we did. This one's called Black Hole Sun, and we're going back to Mardu Mobilize, which is a deck I was super high on the last couple sets, and it just gets even better. It gets even crazier. We're running Sothera, which serves as a pseudo one-sided board wipe that also steals their best creature, and we're running Sir Vondam, Jean-Claude Van Damme himself, because he's absolutely nuts with Mobilize. You have to see it, you have to try it. He's just crazy. I mean, he's crazy in any deck you run him in, but he's just super nuts in Mardu Mobilize. We've also got some interesting card choices in this one that I haven't seen a lot of other people using. I've used them before in past iterations of this deck, but I just don't see many people using some of the card choices that I picked for this one. And I think they're actually really smart and really awesome, so I can't wait to break it down. Before we break down the deck for you guys and get into the gameplay, please like the video. It helps me get it out to so many more people. It helps the channel grow, and I appreciate it more than I can express with words. I know that I say that every single video, but I honestly mean it. It makes a huge difference, so thank you for hitting that like button. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe because I have a ton of content on the way, and catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn, because if I'm live and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Now let's break down this deck. Alright, I think we finally perfected Mardu Mobilize. This deck is absolutely sick. So the best new card for Mardu Mobilize is Sir Vondam, Sunstar Exemplar. You've probably seen me use this guy a whole bunch in other decks lately because he's just insane. A 2-mana 2/2 with Vigilance and Menace in the colors of Orzhov. Whenever another creature you control dies or is put into exile, it gets a counter and you gain a life, which is just kind of pushed. And also, when Sir Vondam dies or is put into exile while its power is 4 or greater, you destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. And the part of this that's so crazy is the fact that it triggers even when things are put into exile. So no matter what, you're getting counters off this thing if your opponent does anything to your creatures other than maybe bouncing. And no matter what, you're getting rid of their best permanent on their side of the board when this thing leaves the battlefield, as long as you can get its power up to 4, which gets pretty nutty, especially in a deck like Mardu Mobilize, which is built around creating creatures and sacrificing them every single turn. It's going to be very rare that you ever end a turn without Sir Vondam being at 4 power, which is nuts. We're also running 1 copy of Sothera the Supervoid for 4 mana. Everything that dies on our side makes our opponent have to exile a creature, and then if they run out of creatures, at the end of our turn, we get rid of Sothera, and we get their best creature under our control with an extra 2 counters on it, which is just absolutely bananas. When used right, this thing is basically a damnation. Comes down, wipes the board because a bunch of our Mobilize tokens are dying anyway, and then also becomes a control magic, giving us their best creature. A damnation plus a control magic in the same card is nuts. The only thing that holds this card back is the fact that it's legendary, and the fact that you need to jump through a bunch of hoops in order to actually get all of the value out of it. But this deck is the deck that's best positioned to jump through those hoops effortlessly to trigger the Sothera, so it's absolutely nuts. The fact that it's legendary means I don't really want to run more than 1, but in some games this is super relevant, and we do have ways to fetch it, which makes it way better. We're also running 3 copies of Treacherous Greed, and I feel like this is a card that's super overlooked in decks like this. I don't see anybody running this card, and it's absolutely nuts. 3 mana for an instant. As an extra cost, you have to sack a creature that dealt damage this turn, and you draw 3 cards and drain your opponent out 3 life, which is an insane swing in a deck like this that is super aggressive with Mobilize tokens and also has plenty of things to sacrifice every turn. The key here is making sure whatever you're sacrificing dealt damage, and that's why this only works in very specific sacrifice decks, because you can't just turtle up, play a bunch of stuff out, and sit on it and sack it and get the value off the Treacherous Greed. Your stuff needs to be swinging in and doing damage. Mardu Mobilize is perfect for that because you're constantly making tokens, some of them are getting through, and then you sacrifice those tokens to the Treacherous Greed. The swing you get out of this card is bananas, and this is the perfect deck for it. We have a whole bunch of other cards that help round things out. At the 1-drop slot, we're running 4 Nesting Bots and 4 Stadium Headliners to come down on turn 1, as well as having a 9th 1-drop in Basri, tomorrow's champion, just to sort of make sure we're always curving out and playing something on turn 1. The mana base is very specifically built around letting us curve out and always drop an untapped land and be able to play the things that we need to play on the turns that we need to play them. So, Nesting Bot, Stadium Headliner, both good for different reasons. The bot will very quickly become a 2-1. It also gives us another token when it dies, so that we keep having fodder for our sacrifice outlets. The Headliner is just nuts. Not only is it mobilizing every turn and triggering our synergies, but it can be used as removal. Sometimes you can even just swing in, make a bunch of tokens with your mobilize stuff, and then sack it before blockers are declared to get rid of their big threat. This thing just does everything in this deck, and it's absolutely critical. In fact, we're pretty much just splashing red for the Stadium Headliner because it's that good, although there is one other card that we use red for that I'll get to in just a little bit. We're also running 4 copies of Corrupted Conviction and Desperate Measures. Both of them are insane 1-drops that draw us 2 cards, with Desperate Measures being a way to also be a little bit tricky in the deck. We can use Desperate Measures on a Sir Vondam that only has 1 counter on it, so that it trades in combat, is at 4 power, and removes something when it dies. Or potentially even just respond to our opponent targeting our Sir Vondam with removal, because it only has a counter on it, thinking they're going to get rid of it before it gets to 4, and then we play the Desperate Measures, giving it +1/+1/-1. It becomes a 4/2, dies to our opponent's removal, we draw 2 cards, and get rid of their best thing. It ends up becoming a 4-for-1. We get rid of their best permanent, we get rid of a removal spell from their hand, and we draw 2 cards. Absolutely insane tricks we can do with Sir Vondam and Desperate Measures. And we also don't have to run a ton of lands in this deck. We only have 19 lands in the whole deck because having 8 1-drops that draws 2 cards is just absolutely nuts. And we always draw into our land that we need early so that we can keep curving out. We also run 4 Rat-Outs, which is another card that's super overlooked in a deck like this. Wanting to just go wide as possible with sacrifice fodder makes this card so good because we get a token no matter what that we can use for all of our synergies, but we also get a little bit of incidental removal that can kill something on their side, maybe a Llanowar Elf, or potentially just make something small enough on their side that one of our smaller creatures that's swinging in can trade with it, like Stadium Headliner, or maybe we even target like a 1/2 that tries to block the Stadium Headliner, and then the 1/2 dies, the Stadium Headliner doesn't, and we still get all of our value. It can be an absolutely insanely good tool to just be tricksy during combat while still getting a token onto the board and getting rid of relevant threats. We've also got 4 copies of Voice of Victory, one of the key cards in this deck, can mobilize 2 when you swing, also protects your stuff on your turn from being targeted by your opponent's spells, which is super nice. And it's another thing that we can use Rat-Out as a trick with, where, you know, if they block it with like a 3/2 or something like that, we can easily Rat out so that our Voice of Victory doesn't die. It gets even crazier if they're blocking it with like a 3, even a 3/2, right? Because it'll become a 2/1, it won't kill the Voice of Victory, and then the Voice of Victory will kill it. So there's a lot of tricksy stuff you can do with Rat-Out, which I love. But Voice of Victory is just giving us endless fuel for all of our synergies. We also have 2 Case of the Stashed Skeleton, which I think is amazing in a deck like this. 2 mana gives you a 2/1 Menace token that's swinging in every turn and just lowering that clock and killing your opponent that much quicker. Eventually, they get to the point where they have to deal with the token, but if they do, Case of the Stashed Skeleton gets solved and you can use it as a Demonic Tutor, which is insane in this deck to not only grab our best spell, but also grab any of the 1-drops we happen to be running. We already talked about Sothera, the Supervoid, being a 1-drop. It's really, really easy for that to feel more like a 3-drop, a 3-of rather, in this deck, because we can find it with a Case of the Stashed Skeleton in games that we need it, which is nuts. Moving on to the 3-drop slot, we've got 3 Sephiroth Fabled Soldier, just way too good in this deck. really easy to trigger the 4 triggers in the same turn and get it to flip and get that emblem. But even if we don't, it's just card advantage. We sack something, we get value, we draw a card, we get some drains, and even if they kill it, it was absolutely worth it to do what it did before they took it out. We're also running 1 copy of Anim Pakal, just a really good thing to play if you're already planning on swinging in with your Mobilize stuff. You get a counter on this, you get another attacking token that you can sacrifice that can get in for damage, and if it doesn't die, if it survives the turn cycle, it just starts to put in even more work every single turn. It's also, as a one-of, just another pretty good tutor target for Case of the Stashed Skeleton if you just want to put as much pressure on the board as you possibly can. We're also running 1 copy of Delney, just super awesome in this deck. All of your stuff becomes unblockable to all of the bigger things that your opponent might have out. All of your Mobilize tokens, all of the things that are attacking to make the Mobilize tokens, they all kind of become unblockable. But more important than that, Delney lets you double up your triggers from everything with power 2 or less. So all of those Mobilize triggers, you're getting double triggers, which is just kind of insane. Until Anim Pakal gets bigger, you're getting double triggers on Anim Pakal. You're also getting double triggers on, like, if a nesting bot dies and gives you a token. There's so many ways to get incidental value out of Delney's trigger part, as well as the pseudo unblockability part, and I think it's a perfect one-of in this deck. And also another card that we can just tutor up with a Case of the Stashed Skeleton if we're in a situation where we're able to win off of the value that it gives. So I think it's pretty nuts. We're also running just 1 lone copy of Dollmaker's Shop, and even though I think this card is good enough to run multiple copies of, I do want to point out that each subsequent copy gets a little bit worse, because the Porcelain Gallery side of this card isn't quite as good if you've already got one out, right? The Porcelain Gallery is only going to matter the first time that you have that card in play, whereas the Dollmaker's Shops could stack up and get you extra value with each one. So I think the first copy of this card is way better than the second, third, or fourth, and it's definitely worth running 1 copy. But in a deck like this where we have so much gas and so many cards that want to find a home in the deck, it's hard to justify running more than 1 copy in my opinion, especially since we can just tutor it up with a Case of the Stashed Skeleton. But the 1 copy is absolutely worth it. Comes down for 2 mana, makes a free token every single turn that you're attacking with at least something, and that value is going to add up over time. And then you do have this alternate win condition where all of a sudden you're in a situation where your board's wide and you have 6 mana available, you unlock that Porcelain Gallery, everything is super huge, and you just alpha strike out of nowhere for the win. So this card's awesome. It is worth running at least 1 copy, I think, but like I said, there's so many good cards you can fit into this deck, I don't necessarily think it's worth it to run the extra copies. But that's pretty much the deck. I'm in love with it. I'm in love with how good Sir Vondam is and how underrated Treacherous Greed is. The deck absolutely cooks. The mana base is specifically designed around making sure that we can have untapped mana on as many turns as possible so that we don't miss out on playing a 1-drop on turn 1, because I think that tempo advantage can make all the difference in a deck like this. If you want the full deck list, it is in the description. It is also on AetherHub, so definitely check that stuff out, and let's check out the games. Let's see, we have Nesting Bot on 1, and we could Corrupt a Conviction it to draw more cards on 2. I think that's good enough. I honestly think that's good enough. It's not amazing, but this deck is built in a way where it doesn't necessarily need a lot of lands early. It doesn't need a lot of lands at all, because we're going to draw into them with so much draw potential. And look at that, we still drew a land. I think we want Voice of Victory out first. And we'll swing in and get our speed up to 2. I'd love to get Sir Vondam out, though. Surveils 1 with a Meticulous Archive. 2 Surveil lands in a row is pretty rough. All Fate Stalker and Overlord of the Baelmerk. Interesting. Seam Rip, our Voice of Victory. I think we just get Dollmaker's Shop out. I don't really want to put Sir Vondam out to die until we can get its counters up, unless we don't have anything better to play. But Dollmaker's Shop is a pretty decent play here, so I'm not worried about it. We'll swing. Make a dude. Hit for 2. We will sack the toy to draw some cards. We do draw a land, so I think it makes sense to try to play Sir Vondam here. It'll probably get countered. Didn't get countered. Okay. Cutzill's Flanker. Interesting. Very interesting. We can block it all day with the toy and get a counter onto Sir Vondam, which is really, really good. We don't have access to red yet, but at the same time we don't need it. So we should be fine. Splash Portal. Gain more life, sure. 1 top, 1 bottom. Didn't get to swing with it first, which is interesting. It's good for us. Less value on his side. Alright, how do we want to do this? I guess we just swing, right? We just swing and see what his blocks are like. He's gonna block the nesting bot. That's fine. We get some triggers. We get a counter on Sir Vondam. Do I want to Sephiroth? I think I do. Probably get countered. Oh, it didn't get countered. Crazy. Sack the toy, draw a card, trigger Sir Vondam. And that's where things get crazy, because now if Sir Vondam goes away, 𝐿𝐴𝐺 goes away. Oh, except for Ultima. Except for Ultima. That was wild. Do we Anim Pakal? Or do we Nesting Bot Corrupted Conviction? You know what? Let's do this. We'll try to rebuild our value here. Put out Voice of Victory and hold up another Corrupted Conviction. That seems fine. Even shocking that out, we still have 21 life, which is awesome. He's going to play 𝐀𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐚, which means he must be running out of answers at this point. He's going to try to exile something. But what? Our Voice of Victory? It's going to come back, but he gets to draw a card. I guess we let him. Draws a card and loses life. Draws another one. I think we Corrupted Conviction the token here. Land. Let's see. We've got 6 mana. We'll go Anim Pakal, Sir Vondam, and we will swing, get a whole bunch of triggers. End of turn, we get 2 sacks. Sir Vondam ends up becoming a 4/4, and we are very happy. We could probably kill him next turn, depending on what happens. Ultima is really his only answer again. We'll get rid of Delney. That's fine. That's fine. We want to keep this a secret. Much more so than Delney. Oh, you dummy. You dummy. That card is so good. It's so good. I don't even think we need Treacherous Greed. We'll just unlock the Porcelain Gallery. And life finds a way. Life finds a way. Welcome to 1010s. Welcome. This actually looks pretty good. We'll keep it. We can shock in the Sacred Foundry and play Stadium Headliner on turn 1. Voice of Victory on 2. With a little bit of luck, we can slam an Anim Pakal on 3, and that would be crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Although we might need to rat out so that our Stadium Headliner doesn't die. You know what? Let's just play out the Voice of Victory and not attack. We still have the opportunity to rat out next turn because he gets a token and he can still block with the token, right? Tricky, tricky, tricky. Well, we absolutely have to swing now. And worst case scenario, we can always sack the Headliner to kill the Voice. Or we can rat out the Infestation Sage so that the Headliner isn't dead. I think I kind of like this. I'm going to be honest. Get rid of his Voice and hit for 4. That seems really good to me. We do need a land. We missed a land drop, unfortunately. Can't do very much without it. We don't have any of our card draw spells either. Oh, he's got another Voice of Victory. Crazy. Erase Oblivion. That's fine. I'm surprised he didn't swing first, though. That's a play mistake for sure. That is a play mistake for sure. We'll pass the turn. We'll hold up Rat out. We'll kill his 1-1. Get a 1-1. I don't want him to know we're going to have an attacker, though. I want him to swing with everything, if possible. Oh, right. We can't use Rat out on his turn because he has Voice of Victory. Well, that was a bit of a mistake then. I guess we'll jam Anim Pakal. Tricky board state. At least it can block 1/1s all day. You really don't ever want to slam him unless you're attacking that turn, so that he at least comes in as a 2/3. But we don't have very many options right now. We will block one of the 1/1s just to prevent a little bit of damage. Alright. We actually have a lot of options here. Let's attack first. He's gonna trade. I don't like that. I don't like it. I want to sack that dude. Oh wait, I can't sack him anyways because he didn't deal damage. I guess we'll sack him to Sephiroth. Draw a card, drain 1. Ooh, another rat out. That might be worth it. Nah. I'd rather keep 2 life right now. He could swing in for potentially 6. If we shock that in and go down to 7, that is very, very close. Does he get a counter this time? No. Still gets a dude. Still gets a dude. Alright. Let's time for Sothera. Probably need to hold back a blocker, though. Sack a rat to draw. Sothera triggers. Go ahead and exile something. Oh, you crazy. You are out of your mind. You are absolutely out of your mind. He doesn't realize how Sothera is going to work. He's just going to give me everything. He's just going to give me literally everything. That's crazy. Yeah, it's over, buddy. Welcome to Earth. This looks pretty good. We can keep it. Definitely gonna want to start with Basri here, which means we need to shock this in. Alright, Blazemire Verge. I guess it's best to play Dollmaker's Shop here. Try to get some value off Basri. I don't think we necessarily want to exert Basri anytime soon. I think he's more valuable just swinging right now. But it's still nice to have the opportunity to do that later on. Do we get Sir Vondam out? I think we're going to need to draw cards. Let's swing 3 and make another 1/1. Let's Desperate Measures the 1/1 that swung. We definitely want to make our third land drop. There it is. So we'll go Godless Shrine, Sir Vondam. And if he doesn't deal with the Sir Vondam this turn, we are off to the races. And if he does, we have tempo advantage that we get to keep. So honestly, not bad either way. Let's get one nesting bot out right away so that we can get our speed up to 2. And we will Corrupted Conviction, the 1/1 here. And let's see. I think it makes sense to shock in the Foundry, tap it for white, play a nesting bot, hold up rat out, end the turn. Now what's cool is we can use rat out to kill our own creature to put another counter on Sir Vondam in response to him trying to use removal on Sir Vondam so that we can get it to 4 and kill something on his side. Obviously that doesn't really work at this exact time because he doesn't have anything on his side, but it's still a line that could come up very quickly. In fact, now he's got the Tanic, so could very well come up very easily. We'll hold on to it for now though. We definitely want to swing with everything. Well, not the Basri. Not the Basri. See what he decides to block. So we will Corrupted Conviction, the thing that he's going to block. Which actually makes us go up counters on Sir Vondam and gets us even more damage through. He goes down to 4. Then we'll play Treacherous Greed on this nesting bot. Trigger Sir Vondam again. Unfortunately, no untapped lands, so we just play the starting town and say go. But our board is insane. He's down to 1. He can't kill Sir Vondam without losing his board. Pretty nuts. And our hand is pretty much full. This deck's bananas. This deck is straight up banana hammocks. Good God. Meteor Golem my Sir Vondam, which will kill 𝐀𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐵. Amazing. Amazing. We just run him over next turn. We just run him over next turn. Yeah, it's over. It's over, buddy. Alright, this actually looks pretty decent. We'll try to keep it. We'll start with a Sacred Foundry into a nesting bot. We are going to have to pay the 2 life, but that's fine. That is fine, my friends. Hired Claw. Sure it's not a lowered claw? We are going to swing. Let's see if he blocks. He does not block. So we will keep our trick for his turn when we block. That seems fine. Ember Heart Challenger. Do we want to trade with the Challenger? Or kill the Hired Claw and keep our nesting bot? I think we want to trade with the Challenger. Rat out. So much ratting out. Swing. Hit for 3. I think we want to play Sephiroth first. And we'll get rid of the nesting bot so that we have a token to block with potentially. Sir Vondam coming in hot. We've got Corrupted Conviction. Honestly, our hand looks really good. And the fact that we gain a little bit of incidental life from Sephiroth, Sir Vondam, and not so incidental amount of life from Treacherous Greed is huge against a deck like Mono Red. No blocks. I think we probably want Sir Vondam down. We'll swing with 2. And then we will Corrupted Conviction the Rat. Put a counter on Sir Vondam. And I guess we play the Godless Shrine tapped. Next turn could be huge. We don't want to block with Sir Vondam. We want to block with the token to get it to 4. Don't know how realistic that is. Okay, I guess we can block with Sir Vondam. Hits for 3. All of that is fine. Let's go Dollmaker's Shop. Smack in. Oh boy, Sir Vondam's getting big. And we will Treacherous Greed, sacking the 1/1, making Sir Vondam even bigger. If we wanted to, we could sack Sir Vondam to kill the Slick Shot. But I think the life we're gaining from the Greed and from the Vondam triggers is enough that we can outpace it right now. So I don't think we do that yet. He can't really get rid of the Sir Vondam or his Slick Shot dies. But he can't swing through the Sir Vondam with his ground creatures. So he kind of has to just win with the Slick Shot. Which is going to be really, really hard for him. Shocking. What a shocking turn of events. Yeah, I don't see how he can come out on top here. Let's swing with everything. If he decides to block the 1/1, we can rat out and kill a Hired Claw. Does he double block Sir Vondam? That sounds crazy. It's got Menace, dude. Really? Oh, okay. That's wild. I guess we will sack the 1/1 for Treacherous Greed again. Put him at 2. Put us up at 14. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're going to play out 1 Stadium Headliner, but we're going to hold up Rat Out to be safe. And we're definitely going to play a tapped land to not go below 14 here. All you have to do against Mono Red is survive. We don't need to get greedy and try to play Voice of Victory. That's all it takes. This looks pretty good. We have access to all of our colors, even though we're not turning on the Verge, which is nice. We'll keep 7. Inspiring Vantage. Since he's playing what seems like a kind of defensive deck, I think I'd rather get the Headliner out than the Nesting Bot. The Nesting Bot would be better if he was playing super aggressive and we would need like a chump blocker. Or we were worried about like removal on turn 2. I don't think that's the case. He's just trying to go wide. No blocks. Now here's where things get interesting. Because we can serve Vondam and swing. And if he blocks the Headliner, Vondam becomes a 4/4. Either way, he still becomes a 3/3 and we get him for 2 damage, which is nice. So, he might have removal for Sir Vondam, but it's going to slow him down if he does. I guess not. He just wants his Pridemate to be a 5/5. Interesting. One, two. Don't think we can get enough. We could rat out Nesting Bot. We'd need 2 mana though. If we rat out, Pridemate goes to 4/4. We get a rat. We swing. We have 4 creatures, but when we sack the Headliner, it's only 3. So we do 3 damage to a 4/4. That's not good enough. That is not good enough. Let's just swing. And let's see what we can do here. He's just gonna take it. I mean, that is definitely good for us. I guess we just play Sephiroth. Draw cards, get Sir Vondam up to 4 counters, which is huge. And set ourselves up for next turn. We can easily kill the Pridemate with Sir Vondam. So I'm not super worried about that. Does he have anything at instant speed? I'm gonna guess no. Even if he does, we make him waste his last card. So we'll kill the Pridemate. And then we will also get some triggers of Sir Vondam here. Get rid of Delney. And we draw another Sir Vondam. How wonderful. How wonderful. We'll play it. We'll play a Nesting Bot. And we will swing. I think, honestly, we hold out the rat up. We could corrupt the conviction the token. But we could also just rat out our own nesting bot to make it a 4/4 if he tries to target it. But we could also rat out the healer's hawk. Either way, he's going to scoop it up, so it doesn't matter. This is alright. It's not super good. We don't have any 1-drops. And both of our lands are shock lands, which is a lot of damage. But it's not bad enough to toss back. So we're going to have to go with it. We'll toss out the Godless Shrine tapped. Try to play Voice of Victory on 2. With a little luck, we can follow that up with Sephiroth. I did almost keep the Godless Shrine untapped and hold up a rat out. But I decided against it, and I'm glad I did. Alright, long goodbye. Sure. Even though it's slightly wasteful, I think just playing the Sephiroth out is probably best. Because we have 2. Another long goodbye? Sure. Sure. I think we just get out the Delney. Eat some more removal or something. Just every long goodbye ever, I guess. Wild. Absolutely wild. I still don't think we play the Sir Vondam because we don't really have anything to pair it with. I think it's better to be mana efficient in this case. Both Sephiroth and Sir Vondam are somewhat wasteful plays in this sort of situation. We got our 1 swamp too, so we don't have a basic to find, which sucks. We only had 1 in the deck and we actually got it. Nice Charizard. He is running out of gas though. River Churn Monument down to 1 card. We will play out Sir Vondam and hold up Corrupted Conviction in case he tries to kill it. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. See, Desperate Measures would be kind of sick if we already had 1 counter on it. We could get it to 4 power, still draw 2 cards, and kill this thing. I think we still use that card, though. We'll draw 2. Kind of come back. We have way more gas than our opponent. Now we just need to actually play things out. We got Jador. Pretty rough. We're dead next turn to the River Churn Monument's exhaust ability. And we don't have anything we can play. I guess we just rat out to make a 1/1. And then we Corrupted Conviction. The 1/1. And then we play a Stadium Headliner. But yeah, he's just got us. It was just super bad luck. He had the exact amount of removal he needed to take out all of our threats and leave us only with spells in our hand, which we couldn't really use without threats. The math was just perfect. So he got us. We are up against 𝐿𝐴𝐿, and the opening hand looks okay. Okay. I would like more payoffs other than just Delney, but we'll make it work. We're going to have to start with Starting Town. Get down one of our 1-drops right away. Hello, 𝐿𝐴𝐿. 𝐿𝐴𝐿 the Standard Bearer. No rest, no mercy, no matter what. In other words, stop resting on your laurels. Let's do this. Start with a Stadium Headliner. I think... I would like to play the Nesting Bot and the Stadium Headliner, but we don't have the colors for it just yet. So we're going to go with Case. And just swing in for 2. Seems fine. Astrologian's Planisphere. Put out the Swamp. Do we want Delney? Or do we want both of these? That's the question. I think we'll try to be mana efficient here. We'll get multiple Mobilize triggers because of Delney. We'll smash in for 5. I don't think he wants to lose the token that the Planisphere is on. I think he wants to build it up. Just keep putting pressure. Hopefully he gets rid of the token and we can search for what we want. And Sui. Simulacrum Synthesizer. Oh, it's one of those decks. I think we can outpace it. Especially since his big tokens aren't going to be able to block because of Delney. Very nice. Black, red, white. I guess, do we want to use the Stadium Headliner to kill the thing? That's the question. I think maybe. Sneezes. Goodness gracious. We'll go to combat. I think maybe we just swing with everything, to be honest. Like, he could trade with the Delney, but that's fine. It is what it is. Alright, we'll sack the Headliner to kill the dude. Get in for 6. And then we will Desperate Measures our own token. Not too bad. He's down to 7. Is this token going to matter? Hard to say. Hard to say. Solemn Simulacrum. I don't see many people running that in this deck. Well, they can't block. Only the Solemn Simulacrum can block. Which is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So I guess we just swing, right? We can't swing with Delney. We don't want to lose that ability if he trades with the Simulacrum. But we'll get some tokens off of Delney, which is nice. And we'll play a Stadium Headliner. And a tapped Shrine. My allergies are awful today. What else we got? Sneezes. That's what we got. Lots of sneezes. all of a sudden I just can't stop sneezing. And my opponent can't play, apparently. Alright, we will kill the Solemn Simulacrum so that it can't block. And we will attack with 1 million creatures. That seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Sack to gain 3 life. Well, it can't block anything, so it doesn't matter. Delney for the win. Allergies for the loss. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.